Good day, everyone. Ali is here from Safi Financial Network. Here's the update for Apple stock. I came up with the Apple analysis just last week. If you haven't seen the video for last week, make sure watch the video. I put a link up there here for your information. So this is kind of like the follow-up based on our last week analysis. So we came up with a bearish reading for Apple. And so far, to be honest, this week worked out pretty well. Last week, we had a pretty sharp sell-off to the downside due to earnings, especially on Thursday. This move happened, and it was kind of like one of the strongest bearish engulfing on the top for Apple stock. If you just see the previous tops, we don't get something like this for a while. Even I compare to the other top information. This is the strongest move to the downside on the top for Apple. So based on this, we should say Apple has been topped, intermediate top for short term, and we're just looking for bottom information. But before the final bottom, I should say this stock can go lower, and the bottoming phase can take more longer than some people think. So here's the weekly analysis and weekly chart. So we got a bear reversal with a strong candle to the downside. Even SMA 20 doesn't hold up pretty well for Apple. We just got into this kind of like a reversal and then flipping back to the upside. So it's kind of like lots of buyers here, but those buyers actually they couldn't recommit back and hold up stock well. And this week we just got another red candle to the downside. Indicator wise, we just got a sell signal from MACD, and RSI is absolutely crashed. And momentum wise, we are pretty sharp to the downside. Still, we are in a halfway. We don't get still to oversold condition, but obviously we got a bear reversal confirmation. So right now, I'm looking for, to be honest, a bounce for next week or so. So bounce is going to be a potential sell. So this bounce can go to 186. I should say I'm not expecting any bounce more than 190. So that would be the ideal scenario to see a bounce here to 186 to 187. Then we can just see the resumption to the sell-off. And this sell-off can initiate kind of like a rallies to the upside, but those small rallies could be a hard sell to the downside. Ultimately, I'm just looking for this area, which is going to be four levels, to be honest, based on a weekly chart, that they would be valuable to buy this stock. This demand area is structured very, very well, and based on the supply demand forces that I have, just engulfing this pivotal point nicely, forming up pretty nice pattern. So all in all, when I just come up with a different perspective for the chart, for the analysis of the supply demand, for the pattern structure, everything goes very, very well for these levels. The levels are going to be 146 to 160. So between these 146 to 160, that would be the bottoming formation I think it's going to form. Right now, we are at 177. So expect more downside to go after this bounce. So this bounce, when this bounce forms, probably next 2 weeks, we will see a top information. Then we can get to the short position, and that short position can be well paid off within, I should say, 4 to 6 weeks. And then after that, I should say middle of the September to November, let's say middle of October. So this period, like 15 September to 15 October-ish, or can stretch to early November, we should see kind of like the Apple bottoming phase here around 150 to 160. Again, we're going to just learn ourselves about the chart, and then we are going to educate ourselves. But that's the scenario that I'm thinking. So the scenario, to wrap up the scenario based on the daily weekly chart, is going to be something like this. We're going to see a bounce, and this bounce is going to be just, for example, for a week, maximum 2. Then September, early September, we should see a sharp sell-off to the downside, take out this pivotal point with the small rallies, but those rallies are going to be sell until here. So let's say early October or second half of the October, we should see a bottoming phase for Apple to getting back to the upside. So this is based on the weekly analysis, based on the daily analysis. That's why I'm just getting into kind of like bounce scenario. We have got lots of gaps here. This sharp sell-off just ending diagonal. We are at SMA 100, which is kind of like a minor support, but we got into this gap. So this gap is very, very important just because it has been tested once and initiate this rally. So that's one thing. Another thing is we're just passing 23% Fibonacci extension, retracement. So whenever we get back above this, so we can't just see another just a rally to here to 23%, and then sharp sell off to 38% Fibonacci retracement. So this small rally could get all the way to 180. So exactly that's what I'm looking for, 180 to maximum 186. So that's going to be still a potential scenario to just hit this gap here and then coming down. So that would be a minor scenario one. Scenario two could be kind of like a stretch, strong move to the upside, but that's going to be disappointment afterward for lots of bulls to 187, 186, 187, when there is a gap window here. And this gap window could be a potential sell opportunity for lower low to somewhere around 160 to 167. Ultimately, I'm just looking for, to be honest, 150 to 160, but I don't know exactly if that happens, if Apple gives us opportunity. The best buying opportunity, the first buying opportunity is going to be 165. And then after 165, I'm going to average it down because I know that that's going to be just the bottoming process, and I don't want to miss the rally, the next rally for this. But before that, we need to just take care of ourselves about this rally, because don't be caught or trapped with this rally. This rally could be kind of like a relief rally or dead cat bounce, and then it can have like a follow through with a sharp sell off to the downside. So we will see how it goes. So that was a smart short update for Apple. Make sure to watch the next videos for Nvidia, AMD, and also Alibaba and Microsoft. So see you on the chart. Have a good one. Bye-bye.